So I was thinking of video ideas, and I thought it might be a lot of fun to just go through my snare drum collection, because now it's actually gotten to the point where I can call it a semi-collection. You know, you can have multiple drum sets, you can have multiple cymbals and all that stuff, and those are good. You need multiple cymbals. I need to up my cymbal game for sure. But really, all you need is one set of drums, and the only set of drums you really need to expand upon, the only type of drum you need to expand upon probably, is your snare drum. We're going to start with the newest one in the collection. This is a 5.5 by 14 KDP Concept Maple. It is 10 plies, and this thing just sounds great. I got this when I got the kit, obviously, and you can see the unboxing and demo of that video here. I think the cards go here. So you can see that video up here, but this is how it sounds. So this is the KDP Limited Edition Maple Drum. I don't know why they call it the Limited Edition. I've seen this thing for years, but Limited Edition. This is a 7 by 14 all maple shell with maple wood hoops. I think it's a 10 ply as well. Don't quote me, I might be wrong. I'll put that below if I was wrong. But I got this thing I think I got this actually for Christmas this past year. I really wanted a deep wood shell, something that I could use for some church gigs and some other events, because I was kind of limited on my snare choices up until recently, and I needed something that I just clearly didn't have. And this gives me a sound that I use typically for church, but I can also use for military-esque type sounds. I can also use it just as a standard rock drum, because playing country or rock on this thing, beautiful. This thing's big, it's beefy, it's open, and it sounds great. This is the only snare drum I have with a 2-ply head on it, and man, this thing sounds really good for worship. I love it. Alright, so I honestly cannot remember the name of this drum. It's a Ludwig, I want to say rocker maple drum. Pretty sure it's maple. Hold on. R. did a video where he found one of these and he said the name. I'm gonna look that up, put it down here. This actually belonged to a friend of mine in high school. She graduated, left the snare drum there. I asked her if I could take it. She said yes. So I took it, and honestly, I owe her some money, because I've gotten a lot out of this drum. I've used this in many recordings. And I've used this on gigs as a side snare, mostly. And I used it in that Percussive Arts Society drum set competition that I did back in December. I used it as a side snare, and I played Stevie Wonder's I Wish on it. And this thing just fits the bill. I haven't changed the head since I put this one on. It's a pinstripe, and it works. I don't know why, but it works. So this is the Ludwig piccolo snare. Now, I'm not going to play this one in terms of putting it down on the kit. I don't want to try and mic this up yet. But this is the Pearl Short Fuse. It's a 4 by 10 inch snare drum. I have a black Ambassador suede on top. This used to be on my 10-inch tom, but I moved it to here. because I was actually going to use this for something. I wanted it to match and sound better, so I did. But this thing has gotten some good use out of it. I bought it my junior year of college because I needed a snare drum for a piece I was doing called Backpacker, and it needed to be a really small snare drum, and my instructor was like, why don't you just go buy this snare drum? You're probably going to use it on your drum set anyway. And he was right. So lastly, but certainly not least, this is the Ludwig Supersonic snare, Supersonic, whatever you want to call it. I don't care. This thing sounds amazing. This has my favorite head on it. It's a Remo Vintage Ambassador coated. Now, I don't think I've told this story yet of how I actually acquired this snare drum on this channel before. I've told a lot of people, but I got this snare drum in a very weird way. I was at church one Sunday morning a couple of years back, and one of the guitarists comes up to me. He was visiting from a different campus, and he said, hey man, I went to Bargain Hunt the other day. There's a box up there that you need to check out. And I said, okay. So I went to Bargain Hunt to check out this Ludwig box that he said he thinks it may be a Black Beauty or a Supersonic something, and I said, cool, I'll go check it out. I went there as soon as church was over. I pulled down the box, and here's this Ludwig Supersonic in pristine condition. Perfect condition. No scratches, no smudges, anything on the shelf. The only problem with it was that the batter head had a dent in it. I was going to replace the batter head anyway. This thing was in near perfect condition, so I immediately looked at the price tag. $300. Oh my gosh. So this thing, the price tag stepped $300, but this was back when Bargain Hunt was still doing that whole pink tag thing, where after a certain amount of time it goes down in value a certain percentage. Check that pink tag. This thing actually cost $200. As soon as I saw that, I was like, I'm buying this now. I don't care how much money I have in my account. I need to buy this now. I went to the register, bought it, and I've never turned back. This thing sounds incredible. It sounds so beautiful, and I could not have asked for a better snare drum, especially at that price point. I spent $200 on this. This is the current price of that drum on, here's Sweetwater's price. Go get yourself one. Oh my gosh, these are amazing. So, it's a steel snare, vintage ambassador coated on the top. It's absolutely one of my favorites. Enough talking, let's listen. This is my absolute favorite snare drum I own. With the story and the sound that it has, you can't beat it. It's so unique, and I'm so glad that my friend told me about that, and I'm so glad that I picked it up. So that's all the snares I have. This Ludwig, that PDP, that Pearl. They're all unique, which is why I bought them. Don't buy snares just because it's a snare drum. Buy snares that you can use and you need. As soon as I bought this Ludwig Supersonic, I sold my Yamaha because I had a Yamaha steel stage custom that was 6.5 by 14. I don't need two of those. Each snare drum I have is a unique sound, and I can use them for different purposes, which is why I have them. So be sure you like, subscribe, share, all that fun stuff. Please, though, leave a comment. Tell me what snare drums you use. What snare drums do you have in your arsenal? Do you use one? Do you use many? Do you have a Todd Sucherman level of snare drums? Or do you just say, hey, I got one thing, it does it all for me? Maybe I'll find something new I didn't know about. Maybe you found something new in this video that you didn't know about. Maybe the Supersonic, maybe the Maple, whatever. This is all about sharing information. So leave a comment down below, let me know of all of that stuff, and I will see you in the next video.